मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है सर, सारे मेंबर्स से प्लीज म्यूट कर दें क्योंकि बहुत सारी शायद डिस्टरबेंस आ रही है। अब ठीक है। गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन एंड अ बिग थैंक यू टू द चेयरमैन ऑफ द बरेली ब्रांच। आज का टॉपिक जो उन्होंने रखा है, स्टैंडर्ड ऑन ऑडिटिंग प्रैक्टिस, इट्स अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस. I always feel that basically SAPs and accounting standards are like Bible to us for all chartered accountants. They are basically the rules and regulations which govern our profession. ये अलग बात है कि हम लोग कभी कभी क्या होता है कि अपनी डे टू डे रूटीन में और डे टू डे प्रैक्टिस में सैप्स और अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स पे उतना फोकस नहीं करते. और रीजन बीइंग क्या है कि हम लोग लास्ट टाइम पे ऑडिट करते हैं या जो भी हमारे चैलेंजेस हैं प्रोफेशन के वो अपनी तरह के हैं, बट दे आर बेसिकली द रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन विच गवर्न आवर प्रोफेशन. और समय समय पर एंड हम लोगों को वापस अपने बेसिक्स पे जाना ही पड़ेगा सो एज टू मेक श्योर कि जो हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट की गाइडलाइंस हैं वी आर फॉलोइंग द सेम. एज फार एज अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स आर कंसर्न, उसमें तो एक बार को हमारे को थोड़ा बहुत रिलैक्सेशन मिल भी सकता है कि वो पर्टिकुलर क्लास ऑफ एसएससी के ऊपर कितने एप्लीकेबल हैं और कितने एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. बट एज फार एज द स्टैफ इज कंसर्न, I don't think there is any excuse, and every class of SSC is basically governed by that. और in fact हमारा प्रोफेशनल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट और हमारा प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स हम लोगों को ये कंपल्सरली एंड मैंडेटरली इस बात के लिए फोर्स करता है कि हम लोग अपने जो भी अटेस्टेशन फंक्शंस हैं वो एज पर द गाइडलाइंस ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूट, एज पर द स्टैंडर्ड ऑडिटिंग प्रैक्टिसेस भी परफॉर्म करें. और आज वी आर extremely lucky we have really one of the stalwarts of our profession, Sri Anirudh Goyal among us. और मेरा तो सौभाग्य मैं कहूँगा कि अभी तक रहा है. आई हैव बीन हिज सेक्रेटरी, तो मुझे बहुत कुछ इनसे सीखने को मिला है और हमारे प्रोफेशन के लिए इट्स अ वेरी प्राउड थिंग कि ही इज वन ऑफ द स्पीकर्स टुडे. और आज इनफैक्ट इनके डेलिब्रेशंस हम लोगों को सुनने को बेनिफिटेड विद इट. मेरी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है, थोड़ा सा बोरिंग जरूर हो सकता है सेशन हो, क्योंकि नॉर्मली सैप और अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड जब भी बात आती है तो उतना हम लोगों को थोड़ा सा कभी कभी बोरिंग सा लगता है, बट इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और मेरी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि अनुरोध भाई को पूरा एंजॉय करें और पूरे सेशन को का फायदा उठाएं. ओवर टू यू अनुरोध भाई. थैंक यू सो वेरी मच.
Thanks, Mohit. Good morning to all. It has been really a privilege for me that the Bareilly branch has entrusted me the responsibility to deliberate upon the standards on auditing. सबसे पहले अगर हम इसकी महत्ता को समझने की कोशिश करें और करंट सिनेरियो, we know we are all, the total world is passing through a very critical phase of the COVID-19. All around there is a chaos in the businesses. Businesses are running into the losses. 1920 may not be that year because we have been working for most of the 11 months during the year. But in the current year, 2021, there will be more problems, there will be more losses, and in that scenario, the bankers, there may be disputes between the businesses and the bankers, between the owners of the businesses. And when we present the balance sheet for the current year 20 and particularly for the 21, if the business runs into the, God forbid, into the losses and the cases are taken up by the banks for the recovery suits and all that, in that case, the balance sheet signed by us will play a very critical role. And any deficiency on our part or any misstatement, any wrong found in the balance sheet may make us also a party into the recovery suits. In that case, our working papers, our standards on auditing, which the institute has made mandatory for us, would be a, जिसे कहना चाहिए सहारे की लकड़ी, बुढ़ापे की लकड़ी। तो उस तरीके से ये हमारे काम आएगी जब हम अगर ये इस्टेब्लिश करने में सक्षम होंगे, इस जो भी हमने काम किया है वो given the parameters by the institute and we have followed all the parameters laid down by the institute for auditing the balance sheets. अगर इसके फ्रेमवर्क की तरफ हम लोग आते हैं, for the corporate world, Companies Act 2013 in section 143 subsection 1 lays down that we have to conduct the audit in accordance with the statement of auditing as pronounced by the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and we have to give a assertive note in our report also that we have followed all the standards of auditing as pronounced by the institute. अभी मोहित भाई ने जिक्र किया रिगार्डिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन अकाउंटिंग। मैं यहाँ पे ये कहना चाहूंगा कि स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन अकाउंटिंग आर एप्लीकेबल टू द ऑडिटी. Applicability of the standards on auditing have been segregated into 3 groups, level 1, 2 and 3. So whereas the standards on auditing are applicable on the professionals, so all the auditees, be it partnership firm or even given a case of a audit which is conducted under section 44 AD, wherein the turnover is say around 70-80 lakhs, in that case also the standards on auditing are applicable. So we have to take utmost care whenever we are signing any document. The total framework of the standards on auditing is linked when we view the total scenario laid down by the institute. We have code of conduct, code of ethics, which is coming into force. There is a schedule of ethics which is already there, but a revised code of ethics which is coming into force some 2 days later from July 1st, 2020. The main thrust of the institute and all the regulators has been on the independence and professional skepticism of the professional
हेलो,
नहीं आई सर।
तो अनुरोध भाई शायद आज की आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
आवाज नहीं आ रही भैया, बिल्कुल नहीं आ रही आवाज।
काम करने के लेने और मैं सबसे बड़ी चीज है आज तक जिसमें हम काम करते
रितेश जी,
हाँ सर, खोलिए, आवाज आ रही है अभी?
अब आनी शुरू हो गई।
हैं कि हम लोग काम करते
So what I was saying was that originally,
अब ठीक है,
हेलो,
अब आ रही है?
अब ठीक है भैया, अब
आवाज
ठीक है।
नहीं आ रही भैया।
Originally the SAPs were 35 SAPs were there, which numbered from 1 to 35. But after the institute linked their to the international accounting body, the SAPs numbers were segregated into the blocks from 100 to 99 for the standards on auditing, 2000 to 2699 for review engagements, 3000 to 36999 for the assurance engagements, and 4000 to 4699 for the related services. Basically,
ये जो मैकेनिज्म है
these have been,
यूट्यूब के अलावा मुझे कहीं पे
hello,
और आप यकीन करिए ये उस वर्ग की बात करते हैं, वो उस भावनात्मक रिश्तों की बात करते हैं, उस बेहतरीन की बात करते हैं।
रितेश जी प्लीज म्यूट करा दीजिए पहले सबको, उसके बाद दोबारा अनुरोध भाई को अनम्यूट कराइए।
सेफ भी रहते हैं और एक दूसरे से रोटरी के माध्यम
अरे ये रोटरी की मीटिंग चल रही है, म्यूट करा दीजिए।
सर कर रहा हूँ सर, कर रहा हूँ।
जस्ट वन सेकंड।
पता नहीं।
I'm space. Yeah. So after coming, the institute linked with the international body, उन्होंने जैसे इंटरनेशनल बॉडी में सेग्रीगेशन किया हुआ है, so that ग्रुप वाइज उन्होंने सैप्स को ग्रुप वाइज कर दिया। 100 to 200 SAP is totally blank. The next batch is 200 to 300, 300 to 400 likewise. Coming to the specific SAPs, SAP 200 is for the overall objective of the independent auditor and conduct of audit in accordance with the standards on auditing. 210 terms of audit engagements. Audit engagement, I would like to take this SAP particularly. जब तक कि हमें ये नहीं मालूम होगा कि हमें क्या करना है, तब तक हम ऑडिट नहीं कर सकते। क्लाइंट का हमको मैंडेट क्या है, दिस इज डिफाइंड बाय द एंगेजमेंट लेटर, एंड in turn we have to give a letter to the auditee that in terms of this engagement letter we are conducting the audit wherein you are supposed to confirm that these things, and the responsibility of the preparation of the financial statements always rest upon the management of the auditee. This is the basic fundamental in the auditing profession, meaning thereby, unless and until a financial statement is prepared by the management, we should not conduct the audit. When we read about the code of ethics, at that point of time, it was also told that there should be a separation between the person who is preparing the financial statements and the person who is auditing the financial statements. If both the duties are carried out by the same person, there is always a risk of misstatement and consequences thereof. So this is the foremost important document I would suggest we should have in our audit file, so that, and more so in case of audit in the environment, say, in which we are working, like Companies Act and tax audits, it is okay that more of the things are defined. But if whenever we are conducting, say, review of the balance sheet or preparation of the balance sheet for the bank purposes, whenever we are certifying, say, working in the standards on assurance, within the gambit of the standards on assurance engagement, when we are saying that these statements are compiled, prepared by us without carrying out the audit, in that part, or whenever we are issuing any particular certificates, we should have the engagement letter with us, so that we can always defend ourselves that these were the instructions of the client on the basis of which we have carried out this assignment, and based on this assertions by the management and the information provided by the management, this is our report or the certificate. So this is the importance of the SAP 210. Any questions on this issue? If all, okay, that will take in the, otherwise that will be. Then SAP 220 quality control for an audit of the financial statement. For this SAP, I would rely upon the statement. Earlier, there was a statement on the accounts. There was a statement on the Schedule 6 in which the auditor, the professional accountant has to, there were checks provided in the statement which the auditor, professional accountant was supposed to carry on when auditing the financial statements of the auditee. What can be the quality control for an audit? Like external evidences, confirmations, valuation of physical verification of the inventories. These are the three main, to my mind, important documents which the auditor should insist upon, and if there is a lack, we should consider to give our report or to mention in our report accordingly. In this particular financial year ending March 20, due to lockdown, we know that there was no probability of carrying out the physical verification of the inventories. While finalizing the balance sheets, we should take care how the quantity of the inventories have been determined. We should try to reconcile the inventory post-audit, post 31st March 2020. And if there is a significant variation or whatever be the basis of arriving at the physical quantity of the inventories, particularly in the case of corporate associates, I would suggest we should give a suitable note in our accounting in our audit report. In case of tax audit reports, there may be issues because how to give and where to give, but particularly in the case of CAROs, where in the case of the corporate client, whenever there is a significant variation or significant valuation value of the inventory, we should consider this note to be given in the balance sheet by way of either in the main report or in the notes to the accounts. The third SAP 230 is on the audit documentation. This is the most important SAP. Whatever we are doing, it must be documented. I know for practitioners like us, where most of the bulk of the work is being carried out in a very limited period of time, and the size of the auditee does not provide an opportunity for us to maintain that kind of documentation. But at least, to me, letter of engagement, letter of representation, and vital supporting with the financial statements. Say, in case of a partnership deed, in case of partnership firm, the partnership deed. Whenever, in case of creditors, if we should work on the ABC category of the categorization of the creditors and the debtors, and should try to maintain, collect statement of the creditors, suppliers. We know that in most of the cases, these are available with the clients also. And we check also, but we don't take care to keep it in our file. So we should try to, at least if we cannot get an external third party confirmation, at least we can obtain that confirmation from the client and file so that we can be sure that the figures of the debtors, creditors, inventories are correct, and these can support us in future. This is the minimum documents I would suggest we can keep it in our files for the future references. Then 240, auditors' responsibility relating to fraud in an audit of financial statements. We know that under section 143, subsection 12 of the Companies Act, the auditor is required to report to the persons who are charged with the governance of the entity about the frauds conducted happened during the year. So what is the responsibility of the fraud? What is the responsibility of the auditor with reference to the fraud? Then
वो ज्वाइन नहीं हो रही थी ना, वो आवाज नहीं आ रही इसमें
है, अभी भी नहीं आ रही है?
नहीं, आप सही आ रही है सर, आवाज में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है.
Thank you. Then SAP 250, consideration of laws and regulations in an audit of financial statements. There may be, apart from the main law, suppose in case of a company, NBFCs, we have to prepare the balance sheet in accordance with the Companies Act, and there is a requirement of the RBI Act for additional disclosures for the NBFCs, or for say Electricity Act, there may be separate disclosures. So we should take care of those disclosures in that is laid down by this SAP. Then SAP 260, communication with those charged with the governance. This is again a very important document.
मैं कह रहा हूँ दोपहर के बाद वहाँ बोलियो विजय पे. हाँ, अभी तो उनके पास बोले दोपहर बाद लंच करने के बाद अपना विजय के मार्केट कर लो.
ये बोलने
150 पेटी बोले यार, तुम तो 300 पेटी बोल देते.
So if we read this SAP with the documentation SAP, those persons who are charged with the governance of the auditee, suppose there is a change in the management, if say there is a three-tier management, board of directors, CEO and CFOs. In case of a company of a 50 crore or 100 crore turnovers, we can have a situation where there is a CFO or CA who is looking after the total scenario under the control of the board, and thereafter the third layer working accountants and all that. And suppose after 2 years that particular CFO is not there. So if we have communicated with that fellow CFO, and it is not documented properly in our file, we can have a problem at a later date. So whatever we are having discussions with those persons who are charged with the governance, those should also be placed in our file, and particularly we should have a copy duly acknowledged by them that these findings had been communicated, and whatever their output, how we have decided, these should also be documented for the future references. Then communicating deficiencies in internal control to those charged with governance and the management. This is a specific SAP for communicating the deficiencies in the internal control. We know that in the CARO, we have to specifically report whether the internal control of the company is working, is there a internal control in the company, and whether it is workings to the satisfaction of the auditor. So we have to first ascertain whether there is an internal control, and if there is internal control, whether it is working. So if we don't know, how do we know that what is the internal control, and whether we have to then test that whether it is working according to the parameters it is laid down by the management. If there is any deficiency, this has to be informed to the management who is charged with the governance, and whatever there are deficiencies, and then after discussion with those fellows, we have to see how does it impact the financial statements and whether it requires to be reported in our Caro report. Then there is a SAP on the responsibility of joint auditors. In our working, normally there are no joint auditors, so we are skipping that. Then comes the section 300. You will see that when after that, once it is discussed, I will summarize the numbering also. Planning of audit in financial statements. That is where the audit plan has to be, how it is to be audit is to be conducted, and what is the audit plan. That is also a part of our documentation, and because unless and until we plan the audit, we cannot conduct the audit. Then once the audit has been planned, then there is a question of identifying the risks and assessment of the risks of the material misstatement in the financial statements. And for that matter, you have to understand the entity and its environment. Normally what has happened is that over a period of time, we become so acquainted with our clients that we miss this step. And that is why whenever there is a new client to us, we become apprehensive. Particularly, I would say in the case of bank audits, that is the thing there, because every time whenever you get a bank audit, you have a new client and new working environment. In the case of our existing clients also, we should try to introduce this SAP to see what are the developments with the client during the period. Normally, we are revisiting the same client also, say after a period of 8 to 9 months. We close the balance sheet somewhere around September or October, August, September, and we revisit sometimes in February or March. So over a period of 6-7 months, there might be some changes in the management, in the working of the client, which affects us, which suggests us that we should assess the risk again in the preparation of the financial statement. Then materiality in planning and performing of audit, SAP 320. What are the material points in the case of that particular client? Those to be documented, first have to be identified, then to be documented, and then how it is disposed of. It's laid down by the 320. 330, auditor's response to the assessed risk. In SAP 315, we have first assessed the risks, and then how we have disposed of those risks, how we have confronted, and what is the decision we have taken on those risks is laid down by the SAP 330. Then SAP 402, audit considerations relating to an entity using a service organization. If an entity is using the service organizations, what are the specific considerations that has to be applied in those in that particular case have been laid down by this SAP 402. Evaluation of misstatements identified during the audit laid down by SAP 415. Then comes the most important SAP group of 500. Audit evidence. This starts with the audit evidences. As suggested in the previous SAP documentation, we have to collect the audit evidences. In case of bank, for confirmation of the bank balances, we collect the bank balance certificate. For verification of the cash, we count the cash. There is a procedure laid down that the cash balance should be reduced to the minimum. It is suggested by the institute also. Or if there is a huge cash, how it has been disposed of in the subsequent period, how the cash came into existence in the starting, what is the reasons for the accumulation of the cash in the balance sheet. Those aspects for verification of the debtors, confirmation from the third party. These are all the audit evidences which we should collect. And one more thing, when we are collecting the evidences, we should see that this is the third party coming from the horse's mouth. There may be internal evidences, there may be external evidences. We have to check the quality of the evidence before placing a suitable reliance.
अनुज भाई, ये जो अभी कैश वाला पॉइंट अपन लोग डिस्कस कर रहे थे, कैश वाला पॉइंट नॉर्मली काफी बैलेंस शीट्स में होता है और फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग कई बार प्रमोटर्स क्या करते हैं कि वो लोग कैश बीच में बैंक से विड्रॉ कर लेते हैं. मैं नॉर्मली बता रहा हूँ पोजीशन जो होती है, और बुक्स में 31 मार्च को वो कैश इन हैंड करके दिखाई देता है. लॉफुली आज के किसी भी एक्ट में कहीं पे भी ये कोई स्टिपुलेशन नहीं है कि इससे ज्यादा कैश नहीं होना चाहिए. मतलब ये बात फैक्ट है कि वो कैश कहीं कंज्यूम हो जाता है, दैट इज अ सेपरेट स्टोरी ऑल टुगेदर. बट एज फार बुक्स इन हैंड्स इज कंसर्न, मतलब बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स आर कंसर्न, वहां पे कैश इन हैंड एक्युमुलेटेड दिखाई देता रहता है. तो एज एन ऑडिटर हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है? वो तो एक सर्टिफिकेट ये दे देता है 31 मार्च में, दिस मच कैश वाज देयर इन एग्जिस्टेंस ऑन द बैलेंस शीट डेट. तो एज एन ऑडिटर हम लोग की क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है? हम उस पर कोई कमेंट करें वेदर दिस इज एन एक्सेस कैश, दिस इज इनएप्रोप्रिएट कैश, मतलब क्या रहना चाहिए
in terms of quantity of the cash,
in terms of magnitude, मतलब आप किसी भी रूप में ले लें.
हाँ, देखिए इस केस को अगर हम सत्यम केस के साथ लिंक करके देखें.
अरे सर सत्यम की बात मत करो सर, ये बरेली वाले मैग्नीट्यूड पे चलो सर.
नहीं, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग ऑफ दैट मैग्नीट्यूड. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज, अभी मेरे पास एक प्रॉब्लम आई जहां पे कि एक बैलेंस शीट में 1.25 करोड़ का कैश है बैलेंस शीट में. आई एम यूजिंग द वर्ड इन द बैलेंस शीट, and they don't know how to show it. Naturally, it is a fictitious cash. We know all it. अब प्रॉब्लम यह है कि हम सब जानते हैं कि कैश का क्या मतलब है, और कल को अल्टीमेटली प्रॉब्लम डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से भी हमारे पास आ सकती है, और बैंकर्स की तरफ से अगर बैंक का बैलेंस है तो भी आ सकती है. इन सच ए सिचुएशन मेरे को तो ये लगता है कि हम सिंपल सा एक वो दे दें कि साहब द कैश बैलेंस कुड नॉट बी वेरीफाइड बाय अस. मतलब एक रीजनेबल अमाउंट तक तो हम एक्सेप्ट करें. सपोज 10 लाख रुपए कैश है, चलिए जिस बैलेंस शीट में टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ है, 15 करोड़ है, वहां पे 10 लाख कैश है. वी कैन से कि साथ 2 दिन की सेल वहां पे थी, जमा नहीं हो पाई, विच वी कैन एक्सप्लेन टू द. कल को कोई भी बात होती है, हम एक सर्टिफिकेट लेकर के फाइल में लगा लें और इस चीज से अपने को देख लें, सेटिस्फाई कर सकते हैं. और एक एवरेज कैश कितना वो मेंटेन करके चल रहा है, उसको भी देखते हुए 10 लाख तक का कैश हम जस्टिफाई कर लेंगे। लेकिन अगर एक क्लाइंट ऐसा है जिसकी की बैलेंस शीट ही कुल 2 करोड़ के टर्नओवर की है और वहां पे 50 लाख का कैश आ रहा है, दैट गिव्स ए अलार्मिंग सिचुएशन। तो जो कैश का मैग्नीट्यूड है वो हमको ओवरऑल सिनेरियो में वर्कआउट करना पड़ेगा कि वो आ कहां से रहा है। तब अगर वो उसकी टर्नओवर तो बैलेंस शीट में नहीं आ रही है और पूरे साल वो 10-15 लाख का कैश मेंटेन करता हुआ आ रहा है, हालांकि एक सिचुएशन ये होगी कि उसमें हमारी बैलेंस शीट हमारी कहीं जरूरत ही नहीं होगी, हमारे सर्टिफिकेशन की कहीं जरूरत नहीं होगी क्योंकि 1 करोड़ से कम टर्नओवर है। लेकिन अगर सपोज एक 44 एडी का ऑडिट है, मैं इसको ऐसे लेकर के चलता हूं जहां पे कि एक 44 एडी का ऑडिट है, 80 लाख की टर्नओवर है, 80 लाख की टर्नओवर पे 1-2 लाख का कैश है अगर है, हालांकि वो भी एक ज्यादा कैश का अमाउंट मैं कहूंगा, अगर 2 लाख 2.5 लाख का कैश है, चलिए एक दफा हम फिर भी उसको एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं। लेकिन अगर वही 2 लाख से बढ़कर के कैश 80 लाख की टर्नओवर में 10 लाख रुपए हो जाता है और साथ में 5 लाख की कैश लिमिट है, उसकी सीसी लिमिट है, वो चीज कहीं पे भी बैलेंस शीट में जस्टिफाई नहीं लगेगी। इन दैट केस वी शुड कंसिडर एंड थिंक कि हमको उसके ऊपर क्या नोट या कम से कम एक नोट तो मैनेजमेंट की तरफ से ही बैलेंस शीट में आए कि साहब ये कैश इस दिन निकाला था, ये जमा नहीं हो पाया या वट एवर रीजन, क्योंकि वो चीज जस्टिफाई नहीं लगती है।
Sir, one thing, can we know the reason why the cash is coming into the balance sheet for such a huge amount? What will be the reason for that?
देखिए, अगर सपोज लास्ट के 4 दिन में बैंक बंद है या 10 दिन में सेल बहुत हो गई, सपोज जैसे इस साल का जो सिनेरियो है कि 22 तारीख से लॉकडाउन लगा हुआ था, 31 तारीख तक आप कैश को डिस्पोज ऑफ नहीं कर पाए, आपकी उसमें बुक्स में आ गया था जो आप बैंक में जाके जमा नहीं कर पाए, आपकी दुकान पे कैश रखा हुआ था जो कि लॉकडाउन में पड़ी हुई थी, आप दुकान नहीं खोल सकते थे, वहां पे तो जस्टिफिकेशन आप को एक समझ में आता है, आप ना उसको बैलेंस शीट में डिस्क्लोज करें, स्टोर में ना दें, लेकिन अपने पास एक वर्किंग पेपर सर्टिफिकेट उससे लेकर के इस तरीके से कम आप अपने पास रख लें, जिससे कि ये ना लगे प्राइमा फेसी की कैश जो है वो आपका फिक्टिशियस कैश दिख रहा है। दैट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द एविडेंस। मतलब एक सिंपली कैश बैलेंस का सर्टिफिकेट लेकर के हम फाइल में लगा लें और विदाउट फर्दर मेकिंग एन इंक्वायरी इनटू इट, दैट विल नॉट बी सफिशिएंट, दैट इज laid down by the SAP.
Okay, thank you, sir.
SAP 505 for the external informations we have already discussed. 510 initial audit engagements, opening balances. This is a normal audit procedure we carry out when we audit the client for the first time, that we take the previous year balance sheet and check the opening balances as brought forward, and in subsequent year also this exercise should be carried out, because sometimes there is a compensating error which is carried out by the client in the accounts and which might give you a disturbing results. Next SAP is analytical procedures 520. We also carry out this analytical procedures like comparison of the GP, comparison of the raw material consumption ratio, comparison of the power consumption. Normally in all mid-size or even a small scale manufacturing unit, we do carry out all these kind of exercises before finalization of the balance sheet. But these should also be documented properly, that how, and if there is any extraordinary item, those should be eliminated, and the reasons therefore should be properly documented. That is laid down by this SAP. 530, audit sampling. How the sample is checked has been picked up for carrying out the analysis and the audit. That is laid down by the 530. Normally, in our kind of working, we are not using any scientific audit sampling. Whatever the sample we are selecting, that should be documented. If possible, we should also make a brief note why this particular sample has been selected. Suppose out of 12 months of the purchases, we are selecting 2 months of the purchases. We can randomly select, or we can select the sample on the basis of ABC analysis. So all these sampling procedures should be properly documented. Then auditing accounting estimates, including fair value accounting estimates. In finalization of the financial statements, lots of estimates are made in finalization of the balance sheets. Valuation of the inventory, this is also an estimate. Realizable value of the debtors, that is also an estimate. Stocks sent on goods sent on approval, that is also an estimate. So these estimates, whenever we are using the estimation of the liability, all these things should be properly documented. Then related parties. For corporate world, there is AS 18 for the related party disclosures. Now there is a requirement in Schedule 2 also of the Companies Act 2013 that related party disclosures have to be made, the transactions made during the year. And there is a requirement in the Income Tax Act also under Section 48(2)(b) for disclosures of the transactions made with the related parties. For that matter, we have to understand who are the related parties as defined in 48(2)(b). Who is the related party as per Companies Act? As per AS 18, we have to document who are the related parties and what are the transactions the entity has entered during the year with the related parties. Also, in case of corporate entities, we have to see wherever the requirement is there, whether the proper board resolution has been passed for entering into the transaction with the related parties, and whether the related director was there or he was excluded while counting the quorum of the board before passing the resolution. If the quorum of the board is not adequate, then the relevant resolution should be passed at the EGM. These all things should be documented as per this SAP 550. Next, 560, subsequent events. We have an AS, events and occurring after the balance sheet date. Accordingly, there is a SAP also. What are those events after the balance which are affecting the balance sheet date, and how those have been dealt with in the financial statement? That should also be documented. 570, going concern. As we all know, we have to certify the going concern concept of the entity, and to determine how it has been determined, thus a separate SAP is there in 570. 580, written representations. As suggested earlier, that written representation should be obtained from the management about the financial statements, accuracy of the financial statements, estimations made by the management while preparing the financial statements. Next is AS SAP 600, using the work of another auditor. During this year, in the case of bank audits, now that most of the bank audits, the auditors of the branches are required to submit their reports online, and very little scope has been left for making any alteration or suggestion in the audit report. So there was a lot of hue and cry between the branch auditors to how to communicate with the principal auditor, the main central statutory auditors, about the limitations placed on the reporting. Because the central statutory auditor, the auditor who is conducting the audit of the total organization, they are relying upon the report of the branch auditors. So this SAP 600 basically governs the central auditor who is conducting the audit of the total organization, and where he is relying upon the work of an auditor who has conducted the work for a particular segment of that organization.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, just previously you have just talked about the events occurring after the balance sheet.
Yes.
The periodicity of the COVID-19.
Yes.
The disruptions in the working of the business houses or MSME, or like the non-corporate small entities we are dealing with in 44 AV and AD like this. Most of this, their turnovers is being massively hampered, and it creates a mismatch for the bankers, for the third party user of the financial statement as well. Could it be a part of our mentioning in any notes of accounts to this the events occurring and the periodicity of lockdown hampering the turnover of the business in our notes to accounts?
No, because where do you intend to report in the audit report? I mean, turnover is the lesser as compared, the turnover of the 1920 will be lower as compared to, maybe lower as compared to turnover of the 1819. But consider the fact that there is a disruption in the working for at the most for 15 days. During the
time of signing of audit reports, everything is being all the informations are with us. We are also going through GSTR 1 and 3B and everything. We are seeing that in April there was nil return. Almost 99% of the assessees in Bareilly have been filing nil return in the month of April, and May also very meager and very fewer amount of sale might be over there. At the time of signing of balance sheet, it could be a pertinent or material factor for us just to record it in the financial.
No, but every accounting period is a separate accounting period. Okay, so we are talking about the nil turnover for the month of April and May. Okay. So
that is why I am saying events occurring after the balance sheet date, sir.
Events occurring after the balance sheet date. So if in the inventory there are certain items, say the pharmaceutical shops,
pharmaceutical perishable goods are also there, sir, which is being massively the loss is being recorded and all this. Sir,
perishable goods we can take consideration, take into the case study. Say in case of store, say a Bada Bazaar, Big Bazaar,
Sir.
There is a lot of eatables items on the which were there on the shelf of their store as of 22nd March when the lockdown was imposed, which was expiring on the say 15th of May.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay. So now the question arises, as when we are making the valuation of the inventory as of 31st March 2020.
Sir.
How do we value that stocks? There are two options available, because out of that stock of 31st March 2020, this might be situation that they have disposed of their stocks, which we can ascertain from the management what is the quantity available at the time out of that stock at the time of signing of our balance sheet, say on the 31st May, how much stock is there and how much of that and what is the valuation they are carrying on in the balance sheet. Suppose there is a stock of butter of say 1000 kg on the shelf of the store, which could not be disposed of by 31st March.
Exactly.
Okay, now the management says that no, we will not value it on the MRP, not on the cost, but we will value it say at the 40% of the cost, assuming that we will be able to dispose it off to the such consumers who use it for some other purposes, not for edible purposes. There might be some other purposes also for the butter.
Exactly, sir.
So if the store is valuing that stock at the 40% of the value, so that is a sufficient, because as per the accounting postulates, we book the losses and ignore the profits. So we have booked the loss to the extent of 60%, which is a reasonable amount. So to my mind, there is nothing to be disclosed in the balance sheet, because we have valued the stock at the estimated realizable value. Now maybe the ultimate stock is sold for 35% of the cost, or maybe it is sold for the 60% of the stock of the value. This is a fair value estimation on the date of the balance sheet signing of the balance sheet as of 31st May. But if suppose the management gets adamant, no, we will value it on the cost only, then we come into the picture that we say that this is the loss we are estimating in valuation of this inventory, which has not been accounted for, and to that extent the profit of the entity is overstated.
Okay.
This is the concept I take from this SAP.
Okay.
अरविंद भाई, इसमें एक चीज और इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाती है, मतलब एक नॉर्मल केसेस में जो एक आप टर्नओवर वाली बात कर रहे हो ना, टर्नओवर वाले केसेस में जहाँ पे गोइंग कंसर्न का क्राइसिस आ जाए, वहां पे तो मेटीरियलिटी रिपोर्ट करनी है.
मोहित भाई, we have gone through the media, newspaper and everything. The MSME's survival is being largely at stake. बहुत लोगों की गोइंग कंसर्न भी इफेक्ट हुई है, ये तो हम मानेंगे ना इस बात को.
बिल्कुल, मैं आपसे यही बताना चाह रहा हूँ कि अगर आपको 30 सितंबर को या बैलेंस शीट साइन करते समय आपको ये लगता है कि गोइंग कंसर्न वहां पे स्टेक पे आ गई है, वहां पे तो रिपोर्टिंग होगी इवेंट्स ऑकरिंग आफ्टर द बैलेंस शीट डेट में. Otherwise, we need not to report. I mean, this is
the crux of this.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, SAP 610, using the work of internal auditor. There may be situation when there is a departmental internal audit or maybe an external internal audit. So, whenever we are carrying out the formal statutory audit, in case of corporates, naturally we have to report on the existence of the internal audit and about the adequacy of the internal audit. And for that purpose, we have to go through the work done by the internal auditor. And if we find that there is some deficiency in the carrying out of the internal auditor, working of the internal auditor, we should consider and report accordingly in the report, and we should also have a copy of the internal auditor report for our documentation. using work of an auditor's expert. Sometimes we have to employ the experts who are there in their field for judgment of the making the judgments. Suppose this is the case we just discussed about the butter in case of a departmental store, but suppose there is a large amount of fisheries and those who are which are stored at the ports for export purposes and are blocked, suppose for the some other reason. So we have to make the valuation of those inventories and all that. So we are not expert in the valuation of those kind of inventories. So we take the help of the experts who are in making the valuation of those inventories. So that is the experts' opinion we take and in consideration and finalization of our work. However, we have to take care that the expert has requisite degree of knowledge. He is an independent person. He has acted independently and in a professional manner. This is the due care we have to take before accepting the work of an expert in drafting our report. Now comes the ultimate work, and this is SAP 700. So in within a half an hour or say an hour, we have traveled from SAP 200 to SAP 700. Now you see before proceeding further, that SAP 200 series of 200. This is before commencement of the audit, what is to be done, how it is to be done, planning stage, those are all specified by the SAPs with the group starting from 200, 200 rather. In SAPs 300, range of 300 is how to conduct the audit. That assessment of the risk, materiality and planning and performing of the audit. This is all in the group 300. In group 400, there is we have to see the planning of for the related party, and when there may be a camouflage between the auditee and third party in executing the transactions. So those are grouped in group 400. In 500, there is an how to arrive at the conclusion stage. This is within the group of 500. In 600, we have learned about using the work of external auditor, internal auditor, and the expert. Now in the group 700, there is the drafting of the report. So this is the beauty of the defining of the SAPs, that if you know this group, you can reach to that particular SAP in a very easy manner. So SAP 700, you have to form we have to form our opinion on and reporting of carry out the reporting of the financial statements. How it has to be, there is a particular manner that in those reports, that scope of the work, what is the scope of the management in drafting the financial statement, what is the work carried out by the auditor. This is all defined by the SAP 700. It may be recalled that prior to 2013, we didn't used to write that this is the audit procedure, how we have carried out these management this is the responsibility of the management for preparation of the financial statements, etc. These are all were all introduced by with the introduction of this SAP 700. Then 701, communicating key audit matters in the independent audit report. This SAP was introduced, made effective from 1/4/2019. Audit reports issued after 1/4/2019. That key audit matter, which is a matter which is vital for the reader to understand, which is neither a qualification to the auditee, to the financial statements, but an important matter. जैसे अभी बात हो रही, अप्रैल और मई में सेल नहीं हुई. In certain cases, it may become a key audit matter that there may be, as of that date, अगर वो key audit नहीं होता, ये लॉकडाउन नहीं होता, इस इंडस्ट्री बंद नहीं होती, तो हमारा प्रॉफिट नॉर्मल चलता रहता, या इस तरीके का कोई भी मैटर हो, that will be a key audit matter and it should be properly reported in the our audit report. It should not be considered as a qualification, but the auditor may consider whether such an audit matter if it affects the working results or the fair statement of affairs, then he can decide upon as whether it is a qualification or not.
अनिल भाई, ये बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट चेंज था एक्चुअली की ऑडिट मैटर्स का, खास तौर से कॉर्पोरेट एंटिटीज के केस में. तो मेरा आपसे जो आप बात कर रहे थे कि व्हेन इट इज टू बी रिपोर्टेड, ऑडिटर पर्सपेक्टिव से, तो मेरे को जो रीडिंग के से लगा था कि फॉर ऑल क्वालिफिकेशंस आर सपोज टू बी रिपोर्टेड अंडर की ऑडिट मैटर्स. इट इज अ मैंडेटरी थिंग फॉर एन ऑडिटर टू रिपोर्ट ऑल मटेरियल disagreements with the material qualifications in a statement of affair in key audit matters. मतलब वो notes to accounts में लिख रहा है, it doesn't suffice. वो कैरो में अपनी जगह रिपोर्टिंग हो रही है, वो अपनी जगह है, लेकिन की ऑडिट मैटर में अगर कहीं पे भी कोई क्वालिफिकेशन आ रही है, मतलब जो प्रिंसिपल नेचर की है या इज अ डिसएग्रीमेंट विद द मैनेजमेंट, इट हैज टू बी रिपोर्टेड. एम आई करेक्ट और यू हैव सम अदर व्यू ऑन दिस?
नहीं, तीन चीजें हैं. Notes to the accounts, because as we all know that notes, financial statements are prepared by the management. This is the responsibility of the management. Okay, ये बात दूसरी है कि हम लोग के जो पर्सपेक्टिव में है, मैनेजमेंट इज नॉट दैट कॉम्पिटेंट टू प्रिपेयर द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट, सो वी प्रिपेयर ऑन देयर बिहाफ. बट as a matter of fact, this is the responsibility of the management. Notes to the balance sheet is a part of the financial statement, and if we put something in the notes part, this is a assertion or a statement from the management that the financial results are to be read along with this along with this note. For example, I would like to give you, if you might have gone through the balance sheet of the ITC, they had a long litigation with the excise department about valuation of the inventories and all that. So they were giving a complete note about the litigation as a part of the balance sheet, and the auditors were just making a reference in their report to the that the profit or loss is lower or higher by this much of amount, about the जहाँ पे कि जितना भी वो डिस्प्यूटेबल अमाउंट था, उसमें से कितना अमाउंट वो मान रहे थे कि जो है कुछ एक्सेप्टेड लायबिलिटी थी, कुछ डिस्प्यूटेड लायबिलिटी थी. तो उसको उन्होंने सेग्रीगेट वहीं पे कर दिया, और उसको उन्होंने, ऑडिटर ने जो एग्रीगेट लायबिलिटी थी उसको उन्होंने वहां पे रिपोर्ट कर दिया कि सब दिस इज द बैलेंस शीट इज प्रॉफिट इज overstated, understated by to the extent of this amount. So notes primarily is the responsibility of the financial management. Management of the auditing. Now we come to the qualification. Qualification is basically a disagreement between the management, auditee, and the auditor. Suppose there is a bad debt to which the management says, no, we will recover. But the auditor has a sufficient proof that it will not be recoverable and the amount is material. In that case, the appropriate place would be the qualification that the debtors include this much of amount which is considered as doubtful, and to that extent the profit is overstated and the debtors are consequently are overstated. So this is the place of qualification. Key audit matter is something different. It is something like which doesn't affect the balance sheet, the financial statement per se as of this date, but which may affect the balance sheet, the statement of affairs in a long run. To me, this is the key audit matter.
You mean to say not every qualification is key audit matter?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. The example I gave it to right now, that suppose that 2 months sale is there, this airlines industry. Let's take this way. Airlines industry in this COVID period. Okay, so we know that commercial operations, so far as passengers are concerned, are still not on. Almost 3 months period is gone. So this will be critically affecting the working of the airlines industry in this year, 2021. This will be a key audit matter so far as payment of lease rentals. Naturally, as we all know that most of the aircrafts on the lease. If the industry is not working, lease rentals would consequently will also be not getting affected, and might be that the lessor takes away the possession of the aircraft. Once the possession of the aircraft is taken over during the current year, the further it will have the circulating effect, down the line effects on the working of the airline. So this amounts to a key audit matter for the auditor to report that due to this lockdown and non-working of the airlines for 3 months, lease rentals have not been paid. This will affect the working. This kind of thing can be may amount to the key audit matter. This is not basically a qualification on the working results. Basically, what we are certifying that true and fairness of the statement of affairs as of balance sheet date and of the profits and the cash flows. If those 3 things are not getting affected by those statements, that is the key audit matter. That is my understanding. If someone has a different opinion, then it is all we can discuss further on this issue.
ठीक है सर, ओके.
Then modification to the opinion in the independent auditor's report. That is para SAP 705. Sometimes we know that now the auditor's report is to be paragraphed in different segments: opinion para, management responsibility, auditor's responsibility, legal and other matters. In this index, so whenever there is we have a different opinion. One is clean report, one is qualificatory report, one is disclaimer. So if in our opinion part, we are having a different opinion as compared to the clean report, then how it is to be worded, and that is to be that is stated by this SAP 705. Emphasis of matter paragraph and order matter paragraphs in the independent auditor's report. Then there is a emphasis of matter. एक पैरा उन्होंने और इंट्रोड्यूस किया, emphasis of matter, which has to be made part of the audit report. Normally this it has more of importance in case of the consolidated financial statements. We emphasize that we have not carried out the work. Suppose there is a consolidated CFS we are drawing upon, and the main auditor of the holding company is not the auditor of the subsidiary companies or associate companies. So those are audited by the third auditor. So that is an emphasis we give it to, or we are not, the accounts of the subsidiary companies and associate companies are not, audited accounts are not made available. This is an important thing that we make in our CFS reporting, that this accounts of the components are not audited, and we are accepting the unaudited statements, and our report does not, we don't have to comment on, we have accepted as it is. That is the emphasis on the matter. Then there is a SAP on 710 on comparative informations, corresponding figures and comparative financial statements. In this, for this SAP, I would suggest all of my colleagues, to all the fellows, please go through this SAP very carefully, and whatever be the situation, in case of all the financial statements which are signed by us for the, be it for the corporate, and of course in case of corporates we are giving the comparative figures for the previous years, but in case of non-corporates we should also give figures of the comparative figures of the previous year. Most of the time I find that the comparative figures of the previous years are not given in case of tax audit reports. Please do it. This is the crux of this SAP, because SAP, as we had already discussed, is applicable for all of us. We cannot say, and a signed document, financial statement signed by us in case of tax audit is always available now on the income tax portal. And if we are not giving the corresponding figures and comparative financial statements, then we are heading for the suit. So please be careful and give the figures of the previous year in all the cases. Auditor's responsibility in relation to other information in documents containing audited financial statements. SAP 720. Audited financial statements के साथ में कुछ और भी information जाती है. Suppose, for that matter, as we all know, board report is a part of the audited financial statements. Auditor की उसके बारे में क्या responsibility है? That is defined by this SAP. अगर कोई inconsistency है board report में, जो कि या board report या now that MGT 7, it is also a part of the board report, उसमें कोई inconsistency है with the audited financial statements, the auditor should see to it, and if that is not rectified by the management, the auditor should consider whether to make a report in his audit report. That is the crux of this SAP. SAP 800. So all the auditing reporting framework is given within the SAP's grouping under 700. Now group 800, special considerations, audit of financial statements prepared in accordance with special purpose framework. अगर कोई स्पेशल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क में आपने कोई ऑडिट किया है, उसके लिए क्या स्पेशल कंसिडरेशंस हैं, those are all specified in SAP 800.
अनुज भाई, ये जो अभी आप MGT 7 वाला मैटर डिस्कस कर रहे थे, नॉर्मली तो बोर्ड रिपोर्ट जो अडॉप्ट होती है वो मतलब ऑडिटर्स रिपोर्ट जब अडॉप्ट होती है वो बोर्ड मीटिंग में होती है, सब्सिक्वेंट उसी में बोर्ड रिपोर्ट अडॉप्ट होती है। तो ऑडिटर रिपोर्ट तो बाय एंड लार्ज ऑलरेडी फाइनलाइज हो चुकी होती है। तो MGT 7 का अगर कोई वेरिएंस है भी, अगर लेट अस अज्यूम, वैसे तो होता ही नहीं है, लेकिन फॉर 1% अगर कहीं पे वेरिएंस है तो वो कैसे रिपोर्ट होगा फिर?
देखिए, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन। डेटिंग के हिसाब से देखें तो तीनों डॉक्यूमेंट एक ही दिन साइन होते हैं, जबकि सीक्वेंस क्या होती है? प्रिपरेशन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, thereafter submission to the auditor for their reporting, and in the same meeting submission of the board report with all the enclosures, be it certificate of corporate governance, be it MGT 7 and all that. This is the legal framework. But होता क्या है कि तीनों चीजें एक ही समय साइन होती हैं। अब अगर ऑडिटर की नजर में रिपोर्ट में ये चीज आ रही है कि बोर्ड MGT 7 में कोई चीज ऐसी है जो कि इनकंसिस्टेंट है, सपोज फॉर ए सिंपल मैटर, we should take it reporting of the director's remuneration. This is a part of the MGT 7, and MGT the director's remuneration is also reported in the profit and loss account. There the management is also to say that the management director's remuneration is within the limits laid down in the act. So now if there is a variation in the figures of the director's remuneration in the MGT 7, and as stated in the board in the financial statements, our financial statements में भी उसकी वर्किंग देनी होती है कि जहां पे बोर्ड डायरेक्टर्स रेम्यूनरेशन कितना, व्हाट इज द लिमिट। तो अगर इन चीजों में वेरिएशन आ रहा है तो वो तो रिपोर्ट करना ही पड़ेगा।
सर मुझे बस इतना सा कंफ्यूजन था कि नॉर्मली तो हम लोग रिपोर्ट साइन करके दे देते हैं, उसके बाद सब्सिक्वेंटली बोर्ड रिपोर्ट बनती है, तो अगर कोई वेरिएशन होता है तो स्किप होने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा हैं उस केसेस में। हालांकि 99.99% होगा नहीं, बहुत एक्सेप्शनल कोई, हाँ,
लेकिन जो सैप है वो ये मान के चलता है कि अगर वेरिएशन हो सकता है, मतलब उसको उस चीज को उन्होंने रूल आउट नहीं किया है। चीज क्या है कि इंस्टीट्यूट ये मान के चल रहा है या बोर्ड ये एश्योरेंस बोर्ड ये मान के चल रहा है कि 3 जने अलग अलग काम कर रहे हैं, ऑडिटी अलग काम कर रहा है, ऑडिटर अलग काम कर रहा है। ऑडिटी ने एक फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट बनाया, बोर्ड ने अपनी रिपोर्ट बनाई, ऑडिटर ने अपनी रिपोर्ट बनाई। अब अगर 3 डॉक्यूमेंट्स में अलग अलग फिगर आ रही हैं तो हाउ ए रीडर शुड रिकंसाइल कि what is the correct figure and how to arrive at a logical conclusion. So this SAP only says that if there is a variation in the accompanying documents, how the auditor should react. That is the basic intention of this SAP.
Correct, sir. Correct.
Okay.
Right, sir.
यहाँ पे भी बेसिकली देखिए, जो ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस टोटल थिंग इज दैट हम जो इंस्टीट्यूट या बोर्ड का कंसेप्ट है कि हम लोग 3 जने अलग अलग काम कर रहे हैं, जबकि हो ये रहा है कि तीनों का काम हम कर रहे हैं हमारे लेवल पे। Now the next step is engagement to report on summary financial statements. Summary financial statements, जहाँ पे कि to my mind I haven't come across such a. The only conceivable thing I can see is the summarized financial statements which are prepared for the purposes of the prospectus, where you have to report the summarized financial results for the 5 years or 3 years while drafting a prospectus for a comparative study. So, and those are to be certified by the auditor also. So how what the precautions the auditor should take, those are specified by this 810. So with all these up to 810, the standards on auditing, so far as it relates to audits and reviews of historical financial information. Okay. Now the next is the standards on review engagements. What is review engagements is that in listed companies, we know that quarterly audited results are to be published by the entity and are to be submitted to the stock exchanges, which are made available to the investing public periodically. So for that matter, the results are to be reviewed, quarterly results are to be reviewed by the auditor of the company. And for that matter, the SAP provides that how to work on the review of those results. So we are not taking into this SREs in detail. Rather, we are going for straight to the SAEs, which is more important for us. SAEs are standards on assurance engagements, where we are assuring the third party about the auditee. Rather, instead of using the word auditee, I would like to use the word a client, because this is related to the future projections. The SAE 3400 in this series say examination of the prospective financial information. And there is another SAE only in this regard is 3420, assurance engagements to report on the compilation of pro forma financial information included in a prospectus. So there are two things conceived by the assurance board. One is the prospective financial information, and the second is the pro forma financial information included in a prospectus. There is already a reporting format to be given by the auditor for inclusion in the prospectus about the future projections made by the entity. We are rather more concerned with the examination of prospective financial information, SAP 3400, where most of the time the banks require us to provide projected balance sheet. This is the most crucial part of our working. Most of the clients, the moment you finalize their balance sheet, जैसा वो future projections और बना दीजिए. Projections तो बना दिए, अब उसके बाद उसका certification भी कर दीजिए. First of all, to my mind, इन प्रोजेक्शंस को हमें ना तो बनाना तो ठीक है, we are part of the, we have to live in this society, and the client, they don't have that kind of expertise, so we prepare the projections. But certification of the projections, nowhere it is provided by the RBI. मैं अपने प्रोफेशनल ऑफिस उसमें कोई भी प्रोजेक्शन सर्टिफाई नहीं करता, एंड नेवर, जहाँ पे 4-5 बैंक्स हैं उन्होंने भी, they have started accepting this version. They simply accept the projections duly signed by the entity. क्योंकि जो उसकी 3400 की रिपोर्टिंग रिक्वायरमेंट है वो बहुत खतरनाक है. सिंपली बना करके साइन करके दे देना, या कंपाइल्ड बाय अस, या whatever we use the word, this is very dangerous for the professional who is doing it, because in case anything goes wrong with the projections, the banks are now making the professionals are also a party for the limits, etc., sanctioned by them. My humble submission is, if at all you are made to sign this projections, please go through 3400 and issue the projections signed in accordance with, along with the report given format given in the SAP 3400. This is a very exhaustive report. Some 2-3 pages की रिपोर्ट है कि हमने ये किया है, ये नहीं किया है, we are not responsible. तो जिससे कि कम से कम आपके ऊपर कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इस चीज की ना आए कि you are a party for drawing this projections. The last part of our professional duties is standard on related services. Related services में engagements to perform agreed upon procedures regarding financial information. This is with reference to most of the time with reference to the certifications, various certificates we are issuing for the capital subsidy, this, that, all sort of certification, whatever we are doing. This is covered under this SAP 4400. First of all, we must ensure that our certificates should not be a blank certificate. Blank means to whom it may concern. This certificate language we should not use. It should be made specific to the user, and we should make a disclaimer that this is given at the request of the entity for the use by this person only. This is not a open certificate. And we should have an engagement letter, some kind of request from the client that we require this certificate for this purpose. Payment of fees is not important for me. My future liability to the and my future security is more important as compared to the fees for certification. With this all, I think I have covered all the things about the SAP. Now it is open for the questions. Thank you.
मेंबर्स के अगर कोई क्वेश्चंस हो किसी भी टाइप के तो प्लीज अनुरुद्ध भाई इज हियर टू आंसर देम, ले सकते हैं. For me, basically, Anirudh bhai is one of the best minds in Bareilly. There is no second thought about it, and we all respect and regard him very much. तो आपके जो भी क्वेश्चंस हैं पूरी उससे आप पूछिए, पूरी ट्रांसपेरेंसी से पूछिए, मन में कोई सवाल मत रखिए, एंड आई एम very sure he'll be answering you with his in-depth knowledge and experience. Pawan bhai, please. मुझे लग रहा है मेंबर्स के बहुत ज्यादा लग नहीं रहा कि मेंबर्स की कोई बहुत ज्यादा क्वेरीज है अनिरुद्ध भाई इसमें।
मेरे ख्याल में ऐसा है कि टॉपिक इतना बोरिंग और इतना आइडियलिस्टिक हो जाता है ये, कि मतलब जब तक कि डाउन द लाइन आने में शायद 2-3 सेशन जब तक ना हो तब तक जो है दिक्कतें होंगी।
जी आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं, बट स्टिल मतलब आई थॉरोली एंजॉयड इट, और टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट फॉर मी द 2 टेकओवर्स जो आपके डेलिब्रेशन से विच आई कैन कैरी, अब मुझे लगता है कि मैं गलती कर रहा था या कहीं ना कहीं शायद हम में से काफी लोग कर रहे थे। पर्टिकुलरली पहला पॉइंट जो आपने ये बताया था, जो नॉन कॉर्पोरेट्स हैं उनके केस में हम लोग प्रीवियस फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स के डेटा शायद रेगुलरली नहीं दे रहे थे, कुछ केसेस में दे रहे थे, कुछ केसेस में नहीं दे रहे थे, तो इट वाज रियली वंस अगेन अ की टेक ओवर कि हमें मैंडेटरीली फॉर ऑल clients irrespective of their natures whether they are corporate clients or non corporate clients, उन दोनों ही केसेस में प्रीवियस ईयर फिगर्स देने चाहिए। सेकेंडली हाँ जी
SAP 710 जो है दैट इज एन अथॉरिटी
जी,
क्योंकि हमारा जो डॉक्यूमेंट है बैलेंस शीट है दैट इज अवेलेबल इन ऑल द टाइम फॉर ऑल द टाइम। और एक चीज और मैं यहाँ पे मेरे माइंड से स्किप कर गई, मैं उसको और एक ऐड करना चाहूंगा कि about the documentation, we have to keep the documents for 7 years from the date of the audit report. मतलब suppose we are signing the balance sheet of 2020 in the say on 30th June, so we have to keep the records up to 30th June 2027, not March 27.
बिल्कुल ठीक बात है।
तो 710 इज द, मैं उस चीज को डॉक्यूमेंटेशन की बात पे आ रहा था और 710 की बात को मैं लिंक कर रहा था कि जब हमारी जो बैलेंस शीट है पब्लिक डोमेन में है तो किसी भी टाइम हम उसको रिट्रैक्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे कि साहब हमने जो है कुछ गलती कर दी, बिकॉज इट इज एन, हमारी कंपैरेटिव फिगर्स नहीं है
जी।
Any other question?
मेरे ख्याल में काफी अच्छा सेशन रहा, एंड बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमारे चेयरमैन साहब का, और उन्होंने रियली ही हैज केप्ट अस ऑन द गार्ड दोनों टाइम, आप समझो प्री लॉकडाउन पोस्ट लॉकडाउन दोनों समय हम लोगों को बिल्कुल बिजी रखा है। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच अनिरुद्ध भाई, एंड ओवर टू द सेक्रेटरी, ओवर टू
थैंक यू मोहित सर, थैंक यू अनिरुद्ध सर। सर मैं पवन सर से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि वो वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए प्लीज।
जी थैंक यू सार्थक भाई, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स तो हमारे मोहित भाई ने एक्सटेंड कर ही दिया है, लेकिन इट हैज बीन माय प्रिविलेज कि मेरे को फॉर्मल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए आपने बोला। I would like to thank Anirudh sir on behalf of all the members of Bareilly branch, that we have always been privileged to hear him. He is such a senior, learned and experienced person कि हम लोग हमेशा उनसे सीखते रहे हैं, और आज भी मतलब सेशन बहुत अच्छा रहा। हम लोग सर ने भी जैसा कहा कि हालांकि एक मोनोटोनस तो हो जाता है, थ्योरेटिकल सब्जेक्ट है, तो लेकिन फिर भी सर हम लोग को लगता है कि बहुत सारा कुछ सीखना बाकी है अभी भी इसके अंदर। तो आपकी गाइडेंस हमेशा हमें चाहिए कि इस तरह के टॉपिक्स पे आपसे हमें गाइडेंस मिलती रहे। आई वुड लाइक टू थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर सच ए वंडरफुल डेलिब्रेशंस एंड सच ए नॉलेज एनरिचिंग नॉलेज सेशन। तो आगे भी हम आपसे गाइडेंस सीख करते रहेंगे, और बाकी सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद जो इतने समय तक बने रहे, सेशन को लाइव रखा। और हमारे मोहित टंडन साहब तो हमेशा ही काफी अच्छी क्वेरीज और सब कुछ लेके आते रहते हैं, जिससे हम लोग को एनरिचमेंट होता रहता है। और जैसा कि मोहित टंडन जी ने भी कहा कि रितेश जी हैज बीन डूइंग वेरी वंडरफुल जॉब। हमारे चेयरमैन साहब को बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ कि जिस तरह से ये पूरा लॉकडाउन होने के बाद और ये सब कोविड की सिचुएशन होने के बाद इस तरह से एनरिचिंग सेशंस वो रखते चले जा रहे हैं लगातार। तो ब्रांच मैनेजमेंट का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि बहुत अच्छा एक इस टॉपिक आज लेके आए रितेश। थैंक यू ऑल।
Thank you everyone. Meeting adjourned.
अभी